Lemon meringue pie is a springtime favorite, but it's a structural nightmare for parties. We're fixing the stability, the sweetness, and the service. No weeping, no collapsing. This is the Meyer Lemon Macadamia Tart. Let's fix it. The tart has 3 layers: a macadamia nut crust, a lemon custard filling, and a sour cream topping. The problem is sour cream contains a lot of liquid, and if we don't remove it, the bottom of the tart will get really soggy. You might be tempted to use a fine metal mesh strainer for this, but the metal will react with the sour cream, discoloring it and also giving it a metallic taste. Better options are plastic and silicone, and if the holes are big, use a layer of cheesecloth like I am. We're going to go into the fridge overnight. This is what we have the next day. Look at this liquid. That's the way. If we were to leave it in, it would seep down and destroy the crunch we're about to build. In the name of flavor science, I am curious how much liquid came out, so I'm just measuring it real quick. The crust is saved. Speaking of crust, let's get working on it. I want the crust to be more of a toffee texture, so I'm not going for powder. A little bit of crunch will contrast nicely with the creamy textures of the filling. To finish building the crust, we need to melt some butter. Once that melts all the way, we'll go back to building the crust. Just a touch of sea salt and our granulated sugar. I like to mix in the sugar before adding the butter to prevent lumps. Finally, we'll add the melted butter and stir it in. When everything is combined, it should kind of come together a little bit and form lumps. This recipe makes about 24 tarts. I like to use parchment liners for this because they provide a protective barrier to keep the butter in, and they also provide a clean release when it's time for serving. Use 1 tablespoon per tart. I'm using an espresso tamper to get even pressure on the crust. I'm only creating a disc because I found a side crust causes the edges to burn quickly in the oven. A flat disc bakes more evenly. If we don't apply firm, even pressure, the liquid custard will leak through and ruin the structure. The raw crust tends to stick to the tamper a little bit, so if you do a little bit of a twisting motion while you're lifting, you can get a clean release. I'm only baking 2 tins at a time, using a single rack in the oven for even baking. Notice that the crusts are lightly brown. That's exactly what we want. No burning and no off taste. The other crusts are done. While they're cooling, let's get working on the lemon custard. I found that 9 lemons provides the perfect amount of juice. We're going to decorate the tarts with some lemon zest, so let's do the zesting first and then we can juice them after. The technique is a light twisting motion. Make sure not to get the pith, you only want the outside layer. I ended up zesting all of the lemons. I don't think we'll need that much zest, but I definitely want enough for proper decoration. Now for the really juicy part. Straining the juice will remove any pulpy bits and will ensure a smooth custard. We ended up with just over 1.5 cups of lemon juice. That's perfect. I didn't know how much juice would be needed at first, so I didn't put it all in. Eventually I added the rest though. This is a very simple custard recipe, only 3 ingredients: lemon juice, sweetened condensed milk, and eggs. Mixing this is surprisingly challenging. We have a very thick, dense liquid on the bottom and a very thin liquid on top. The lemon juice wants to kind of fly right out of the bowl, so make sure you stir very carefully until you get everything mixed together. 3 eggs in a separate bowl, and we're going to whisk them until they're very well scrambled. The proteins in the sweetened condensed milk help thicken the custard, so fewer eggs are needed here. I'm going to strain the eggs into the custard mix to remove any lumps. In a custard this smooth, any protein lumps are considered a structural failure. I noticed that the eggs are having a hard time making it through, so I'm going to get a silicone spatula to help out. And finally, I'll whisk these together to complete the custard. Notice I'm starting slowly at first because the eggs are a lot thinner than the custard and I don't want to make a mess. That looks really good. The next step is to put the custard in the muffin cups. When the tarts are ready for the oven, I put them all in at once, 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. Here's the result. Let them cool to room temperature, and then into the fridge. While the tarts are chilling, let's get working on the topping. So we need that sour cream. The topping is only 2 ingredients, sour cream and powdered sugar. The sugar helps temper the acidity of the sour cream. Whisk vigorously to incorporate lots of air. And we'll apply a spoonful of the sour cream topping to each tart. For a final touch, each tart gets a pinch of lemon zest. If you've been enjoying this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any future fixes. Also hit that notification bell. It's time for a taste test. At the party, these are going to be eaten in the paper, but I wanted to show you the layers, so I'm being more sophisticated and eating with a fork, just like in Seinfeld.
How do you eat it? With your hands?
The first thing you notice is the very smooth texture from the custard and the topping. Then you get the sweetness and the crunchiness from the crust. And finally you get that super sharp acidity from the lemon. It really makes you want to come back for another bite. 2 more lemon recipes I really enjoy are my 4x Meyer Lemon Cupcakes and my Lemon Thyme Chicken recipe. Both those are shown right here. Thanks for watching.
A knife and a fork. Did you just think of that? No, I've seen people do it.